All right, guys. Good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching. Hello. I wanted to come on here and I wanted to try to upload this. This is my second time trying to upload something here, so bear with me. But what I wanted to talk about was I did a video about why Dr. Phil must be stopped and why he should not be involved in the Capitol riots. And I want to kind of touch on that again here. And this is why. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has opened up about the Capitol insurrection more, saying how she was afraid that she was going to die and how emotional she was. And I'm going to put that in the comment section. Well, I'm actually going to put it in the description here in just a few minutes as soon as I get done doing this. So look for that. Also, and why I think she should avoid Dr. Phil. And you know what? I'm not going to even call him Dr. Phil because he's not a doctor. He's a fraud. He's a fraud who has practiced without a license for how many years? So I'm just going to refer to him as McGraw or Mr. McGraw or Phil or whatever, but I'm not calling him Dr. Phil because he's not a doctor and I'm not going to do that. So this is why I really think that AOC needs to avoid McGraw. The rumors, which I really think are true, about him giving drugs and alcohol backstage to guests is one thing. And I believe that. And if he gave her drugs and alcohol, he would do her more harm than good. Suicidal attempts by Mr. McGraw's former guests on his show in the past, they have attempted suicide. Why? Because of him. You can look it up. You can Google all these stories. I've done my research. You can do the same as well. So, yeah, if AOC goes to Dr. Phil McGraw, which, again, who is not a doctor, she would be making a tremendous, tremendous mistake in doing so. It will do her a lot more harm than it would do her good. No one from Congress that was affected by the Capitol insurrection should not go to either Dr. Phil McGraw or Dr. Nemeth Oz. Period. They should not go to Dr. Phil McGraw or Dr. Nemeth Oz. Congress, those two so-called doctors are not worth your time, and they are not worth your ear. Let me be clear on that. Those two doctors, Phil McGraw and Nemeth Oz, those two so-called doctors, are not worth your time and are not worth your ears. They will do you a lot more harm than they will any good. They don't care about you. As if some of you don't care about us anyway. Some of you care about, especially you Republicans, are your donors. But those who were affected by the Capitol insurrection, you really think that Phil's going to want to listen to you? No, he wants to turn your story into a ratings stunt for his own good, to feed his evil greed. Dr. Phil McGraw and Dr. Nemeth Oz are one and the same of Donald Trump. Both are alike. Dr. Phil is evil. He is poison. Same with Dr. Oz. He may have done a little bit more better with being a heart doctor in the past, but when Oprah got a hold of him, he turned into an egomaniac. But Phil McGraw especially, this is who AOC has got to avoid. This is who anyone who was affected, Katie Porter, that's another one who needs to avoid Phil McGraw. People like them, people who were affected by the Capitol attacks, who were afraid to die, who care about the people instead of their donors. AOC, if you go to Dr. Phil, I will be very, very disappointed in you. Will you lose votes? I don't know. But will people be disappointed in you doing that? Probably. Unless you're someone who happens to be one of Dr. Phil's sheeple who watches him religiously and constantly and thinks he's so wonderful and worships him on the same levels as Donald Trump, then they'll love you for that, but I will be extremely disappointed in you, and it will really put a knife into my heart if you go to Dr. Phil. I love you to death, AOC. I wish I lived in New York. That way I could vote for you again. But do not go to Dr. Phil. Goes for you too, Katie Porter. Goes for you too, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush. All of you, please avoid Dr. Phil. It would not surprise me if Mr. McGraw supported the Capitol attacks. He hasn't said anything about it. He doesn't need to say anything about it. He needs to keep his little mouth shut, is what I think. He's done a good job of that so far. I haven't seen anything on YouTube or Facebook about it, which, I'm glad he didn't. And he better keep it that way. But I really think he supported it. You know why? I think he supported Donald Trump. Want proof? Look up the comments from April of last year when the coronavirus lockdowns were going on, where he made some pretty terrible, disgusting examples about how deaths are from how the number of deaths of swimming pools and car accidents and so on and so forth each year. Look at that, and then you'll find out why I really think Dr. Phil supports Donald Trump and supported Donald Trump. So AOC has got to avoid this man. All of Congress has got to avoid this man. We have got to make sure that Dr. Phil stays away from AOC. If she wants drugs and alcohol given to her backstage before going on the show, then that's one reason why she'd be making a tremendous mistake going to Mr. McGraw. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. I mean, this is not up for debate. If you want to debate, I'll debate you, but this is really not up for debate. Dr. Phil is evil. One and the same. Run on the same levels of Donald Trump. Very much alike. Same with Dr. Oz. I know I've repeated it, but I don't know how else to say it. I don't know what else to say other than AOC, be smart. Avoid Dr. Phil. Avoid Dr. Phil, AOC. Avoid Dr. Phil, Katie Porter. Avoid Dr. Phil, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, and anybody else who was affected in Congress by the Capitol riots. And I want you to think of something else, Congress. How did you feel when you were affected by these Capitol attacks? Did you feel like the people who have been traumatized and or hurt or killed by the mass shootings that have happened that none of the Republicans have done anything about? Have you? Is that how you feel? For the Republicans, God, I hope you feel that way. Maybe you'll do something about gun control now. But I'll say this for the last time. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you've opened up about what happened. You've opened up about being sexually assaulted and everything like that, and I applaud you for it. But if you go to Dr. Phil, this is where I draw the line. So please, I beg of you, do not go to Dr. Phil. Thank you for watching. I hope everybody has a wonderful day wherever you are. And be safe out there. Be careful. Take care of yourselves. And keep following the COVID guidelines until it all lifts up. Have a great day, everybody.
Speech on. Stop recording.